Hello and welcome back to the Quiz On podcast with me, Alex Mitchell.
And me, Holly Noble.
She did it! Today we are joined by yet another fantastic guest. We are joined by drag queen extraordinaire, absolute living legend, Aunty Ginger is here, everybody. Woo! There we go.
Hello!
Right. Thank you so much for joining us. Right, first question as always when we have a guest is where are you and what are you drinking?
Where am I and what am I drinking? So I'm currently in a pub in Leicester, which is
Amazing.
a drag queen's natural habitat that's closed. So there isn't no audience because of me. The pub's physically not open yet. And yeah, they've not been hospitable. They've not given me a beverage yet, so I may end up raiding the bar.
Do they know who you are? And are you performing there later tonight?
Yeah, I have a cabaret show tonight in Leicester, and I might stick out because, of course, it's Leicester Comedy Festival at the moment. So, yeah, I might drop in on some unsuspecting show.
Nice, that's exciting. That's very exciting. That's great. Right, and then our second question comes from Holly, as always.
Our second question is, what do you think the sexual orientation of Sully from Monsters, Inc. is?
That's a great question.
Oh my goodness, Sully from Monsters Inc. I would love to think that they're at least pansexual, so that they can keep all of their options open, or better yet, just into large, hairy ginger women. Because I think there's something about Sully.
Oh my gosh!
Yes! This is what we want on the podcast. This is what we've got.
It's happened again!
Come on! Every week we ask this question, and I love
Does
this
everyone
question
want a bit
because...
of Sully?
Well, each week we do it with a different cartoon character, right? Because it initially started because I said my gay sexual awakening was Mufasa from The Lion King, right?
Oh yeah, Daddy Mufasa vibes. I've got it.
Oh yeah!
Oh my god!
Thank you very much.
What?
Holly thinks I'm completely wrong because of that, thinks I'm weird. But then we ask this question to whenever we have a guest, we ask them someone else, and they always have an answer. And I agree. I think Sully is an absolute bear. You know what I mean?
Everyone agrees with Alex. I think I'm the weird one, clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
You've just not found your right Disney character yet.
No.
You've just been to Disneyland as well. There must have been one.
Yeah, there was no one sexy there, I must admit.
So we're going to talk about drag because I would describe you as a northern drag legend is how I would describe you.
Oh, I'll take it.
I've seen you in on Canal Street in Manchester many times. I'm a big fan. So we really want to talk about drag because I think we're in a period of time where drag is probably at its biggest ever in this country. But I'd love to know what you think about that, really, because as someone from the outside, you know, things like obviously Drag Race are huge, but also it just seems to be growing and growing. The number of live drag performances seem to be everywhere. So yeah, do you think we're in a bit of a golden age for drag right now?
Oh, that will depend on my day of the week and what mood I'm in. I think there are days where I say, if there is never another new drag queen again, I will be very happy. And then there are days where I'm like, the world is buoyant and it's marvellous and there's space enough for us all. I mean, I think, you know, Drag Race is the sort of elephant in the room, the other elephant in the room, the other one being me. But, Drag Race is, you know, it's creating lots of stars, and there are only so many stages in the UK. And I went full-time a few short years ago because I was, not bitter about it, but I was criticised. They were saying, oh, you know, you shouldn't have a muggle job as well as drag. You should be, you know, if you're taking it seriously, you should be doing 5 days a week, full-time, you know, drag, and you should be supporting yourself through your art. And now, because there are so many of us, a lot of us are saying the opposite. We're saying, have something else, because there isn't enough work anymore. You know, and you think, and I see, but particularly Drag Race girls who have secret muggle jobs as well, because they're trying to retain the status of the high-paying gigs and the big stages. But, you know, then some of them end up passing out flyers on a door in Manchester, or, you know, knocking around in Soho for 180 quid on a Sunday, you know, and it is tough. It's marvelous that there's so much drag out there, and I love that drag is for everybody. But yeah, my worry is space for creating.
Interesting.
I think that is a really interesting take on it, and I love that. I find it really interesting that you're saying when you went sort of full time a couple of years ago, people were saying no, you shouldn't have a normal job in inverted commas alongside it, because my experience in sort of doing comedy, which is obviously different, has always been people are like no, it's fine to have a normal job, mainly for two reasons. One, like it's good for keeping material fresh and new, and you still feel like you're relevant, and secondly, because the industry is so competitive. Like it's so to break through in this industry is so hard that you end up having to do crazy things to get your chance and dedicate a lot of your life to it. You know.
You do, and I tip my hat off to the people who run from a 5-day-a-week job in the comedy world to then drive in for 2 hours to do 5 minutes in Norfolk, or wherever they are.
Yeah.
It is a hard. It's a hard thing to break into. I think absolutely of the view now have something else.
Yeah.
But I think there was that sort of inherent desire for drag queens to be respected. You have to suffer, and it has to be difficult. But actually, I think it is an expensive job. Cost of living's only going up. Bars are on their arse, and if you can do what you can to not put all your eggs in one basket, you're very, very wise. And also, I think, and this is true of all art forms, things go in cycles. So, I have moments where I feel like I'm on an upward trajectory and my diary's really busy and people are begging me for work and they're saying, when can we get in your diary? And then there are other days where there's no room at the inn.
Yeah.
And that cycle just goes. It's not like a normal job where you've got guaranteed work all the time. I mean, 5 venues. So every year when we do our diary, because a lot of drag queens do it sort of 12 months in advance, 5 of the venues that I normally get dates from either closed, don't do drag anymore, or there was only one that didn't want me back. But you sort of take 5 times 3 or 4 dates a year. That was over at least 18 dates that I'm trying to fill. So it is a tough gig, but then you have moments where it's bloody marvellous. And I think, without moaning about it, if you didn't love it, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's 100% true.
Yeah.
And do you know what? You're so, I mean, it must be an expensive job, because to look as good as you have to look, it must be an incredibly expensive, job. And, you're constantly having to, as well as, travel to gigs and stuff and accommodation if you're staying the night because of gigs, but as well as having to look as good as you are, that's the cost of that must be absolutely crazy. So to keep going, it obviously is a difficult time to sort of come into it. I mean, what was that like when you started? What drew you to drag? Why did you want to start drag, and what was it like in the early days of Aunty Ginger?
Well, so back when I started drag, everything was black and white, except for Salford. Salford was always grey with the occasional blood splatter. I think the thing about so I started drag. There are lots of different ways. It depends on when you choose what your start date is, because is it the first time you borrowed your first pair of your mum's heels, or is it the first time you got a paying gig? There's a lot of different ways of measuring that yardstick. But I remember being 18 many, many years ago, BG before Grindr, and there were sort of 2 dirty old drag queens in the DJ box that were flirting with me, and even though I'd come on my own, I didn't know I was gay yet. And goodness knows how, but I didn't know. I didn't know, and they were flirting with me, and they made me feel safe. And also, there was an ego boost. And actually, they made me feel like I was there with anyone and everyone. It didn't matter that I was there on my own. And they really lit the place up with energy. So I just thought, God, that's a fantastic job. Not something I ever thought I would do. And then about 8 years ago, I bought a wig one day on a whim when I was in Blackpool, and I thought, I feel an outfit coming on, and I just went out, and I looked an absolute mess. And everyone was so lovely to me, and I thought, what lovely people! This could be a great job. And then, of course, you learn that they're not. But
it does. Yeah, there are times of like you hear some people talk about it and they're like, it's lovely, it's wonderful, but there is always the undertone of it's bitchy. But you like the bitchy? What's the kind of, you know, what's that sort of dynamic like?
well, I think it's broad because you know some people bitch is the character and that's what they're
Yeah.
going for. There's some culture of bitchiness which is celebrated and it's funny and it's sassy and that's lovely.
Yeah.
And then I think there's the other undertone which is competitive bitchiness. None of that bothers me because I think you're in it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, in every art form, there's professional jealousy, there's insecurity. Lots of us artists, as you both know, are deeply broken.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, we are.
So if bitchiness is the mask for that, or it's the mechanism to deal with it, I'm not fussed. I think the only thing that matters is that you love it, because if you don't, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth the expense. It's not worth the impact to your social life, and it's not worth the stress of just trying to make it work.
Yeah, of course. So, go on then. Why do you love drag? What is it about drag that you love?
There is nothing like making somebody laugh on purpose.
Yeah, that's very true.
That is the if I could inject that on a daily basis, I would say don't try it at home, kids. But for me, I genuinely adore making people laugh. Drag's the mechanism that I've chosen for comedy. Ginger's not really a woman. Ginger's an extension of Tom, and what she allows Tom to do is to say things that he would never say.
Loud.
And I think it creates. I remember it just feeling so blooming freeing, you know. And I can say to people, "Are you happy with your hair like that?" And have no fear whatsoever. It's lovely.
There's no consequence. It's the dream.
Yeah. Well, there could be consequences, but you don't feel them in the same way. But I don't set out to make anybody uncomfortable at all.
No, of course.
I set out genuinely to entertain everyone I get the chance to speak to, and I consider it a real privilege. But that is it. I think my enjoyment of it then ends there. There are other people who love sewing outfits and love dancing and love creating different looks. I'm less arsed about all of those things. But actually, I think that's what's wonderful about drag, is that it can be anything to different people. You know, drag's for everyone. Performing doesn't have to be. You could just love doing makeup. You could love doing wigs for other artists. You could love, it's for everybody.
And there's so many sort of subgenres, isn't there, of drag? Well, there's you've got your comedy queens, you've got your fashion queens, you've got your performance dance queens. There's so many different subgenres that there are so many options out there of what you can be. I imagine it's quite freeing, quite exciting to have all those options on the table when you first start.
I think that yes. My journey was working out which of those things I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So my bastard years, as I call them, where I looked absolutely terrible. I tried everything. I tried lip syncing and I hard bombed. I tried, dancing and I hard bombed. And it was only when one performance I had really randomly in about 2018 in Birmingham, I tried something when I was lip syncing that made people laugh, and I remember thinking, "Oh, that's fun," and it just something clicked, and I was like, "Oh, I should try and be funny." And I'm still working on it 7 years later.
Oh, aren't we all? Aren't we all? Somehow we've managed to make a career out of this shit. It's unbelievable.
Ginger, do you feel like completely detached from Tom, or are you like? Does Ginger give you a different sense of confidence, or do you feel like there's an overlap of personalities?
So for me, Ginger and Tom are they're not quite one in the same, but it's Tom without inhibitions. There's some exaggeration, but particularly for writing comedy, which is my favourite thing to do, I like there to be an element of truth, just because I find it easier to deliver that if it's got some basis in truth. There are other people who create completely different characters, or they think they've created different characters, and then it turns out you say, "And where are they from?" "Oh, funny, that's the same city you're from." "And how old are they?" "Oh, funny, that's also how old you are." But for me, they're not that different. It removes inhibitions. What's weird is when I'm back as Tom outside of drag, because people who I could literally have just come out of a dressing room, if I'm completely out of drag, people will look through me like I wasn't there. And that is one of the things that's really weird to adapt to. You know, they love the character, but then the person behind it, they're like, "You're right." I'm like, "Okay, you no longer want to fuck me then, fine."
Is that because they don't know who it is, or
Sometimes.
like, are you unrecognisable, or when they know who you are, do you mean?
I do look quite different out of drag. You know, I mean, I'm a dead giveaway because I've got no eyebrows and glow-in-the-dark fingernails, but facially I look very different, and sometimes people don't know, and sometimes I think it's because, you know, the attention has happened during the show, and then they're with their friends at the night, it's become something different. But I have to get all of my enjoyment in the writing process and the delivery process. That's for me. Other people are a lot different. Some people are very, very good at knowing every person's, all the bar names, all the DJ names, all of the customers' names, and they know all of their lives. And maybe the shows are just as good. Maybe they're not, but actually the thing that they're really good at is all of that stuff. And I love all the people I get to perform for, but I think when I'm so focused on what I'm going to say, sometimes that's not the thing I'm as good at. Especially because Tom's a lot more socially awkward. And I'm less confident, particularly in group settings. One-to-one I'm quite good, but if you get more than 5, I don't really know what to say.
It's interesting. I mean, I talk about it a lot. I very similar, but I love performance. I love being on stage, but off stage I find it like the most challenging thing I find with comedy is green rooms, when you're sat with other performers, other comics, and it's just like knowing what you say, what you do, how do you act is what I find the hardest bit. I'm much more comfortable on stage. So I get that. I really do get that. What I find interesting is that you said that you really enjoy writing. You like the writing process, which I find really interesting because I fucking hate it. like just this week, I've had a writing week this week, which is a posh way of saying I didn't have very many gigs booked in. So I've had a writing week this week. That's what it is. Yeah, it's not pretend.
I love that.
Yeah. So I've had a writing week, but in this writing week, I've written 3 things, and one of them is bloody awful. Can never be used on stage. Like I really don't. It's not that I don't enjoy it, because when you hit an idea, you're like, oh, that's fun. Or when you when you put together a routine, you're like, oh, that's good. That's a good laugh. That. But sometimes when you're just sitting there going, I need an idea, I just find that really hard to. It's really hard to get something that comes to mind and goes, oh, that's funny. Like, also because there are things that I find funny that I'm fully aware now that other people don't. Like, and when I was starting out, I would do things on stage that I found funny, just assuming that everyone would. And that isn't the case. And I learned that the hard way. Like, that is, like, I remember when I did a 10-minute set about my favourite cricketer, and he's my favourite cricketer because the opening line of his Wikipedia page is Rakeen Cornwall is the heaviest man to have ever played international cricket. I think that's the funniest shit in the world. So I went and I was like, I've written this 10-minute set about this guy and how much I love him and he's my hero. And obviously it got the reaction that you just gave me, which is fucking nothing. Like, it was just silence for 10 minutes. And I was like, I don't understand. I don't understand why these people don't like this. Like, it's like, so I find writing genuinely challenging. And I guess the challenging bit is part of it I enjoy, but I don't love it as much as I get the impression that you do. I mean, I wonder like what it is you really love about it.
Well, I think the thing about a lot of drag queens is that we're not expected to be proper comedians. So there's and this is where the worlds are a bit different. Drag is a field that has no barrier to entry, and there are plenty of drag queens who are very successful as singers or dancers, and you know, maybe they've got a couple of jokes that they got out of a cracker at Christmas, or you know, they'll run through Grindr and come up with something to say, and you know, they do so very successfully. But I think when comedy's your passion and it's genuinely your passion, it's almost a bit more challenging to be taken seriously when you're not dressed seriously. So I think I enjoy that challenge, you know, and it's a bit like, how do you get it to, how do I write jokes that say the things I want to about Ginger, you know? I remember, see, I never wanted to be mean, so the first joke I ever wrote was, it was in connection with when I was drag DJing. I remember I talked about how I would do song requests in exchange for dick pics. And this guy had done, he asked for Bohemian Rhapsody. And that is a 5-minute song. And the picture that he sent me wasn't worth more than 3 minutes. But then one of the things I really wanted to get about Ginger was that I'm not mean. So I then said, but don't worry, because the last time I sent someone my dick pic, they thought I was a lesbian. And I think that's where... So I really enjoy trying to think of jokes where they sort of do that job of what I want people to think and know about Ginger. What's really annoying, though, is that I can spend 2 hours working on 5 minutes worth of material, and then I will make one comment in the moment about someone's shoes, and it gets more than the 2 hours.
That's annoying.
I have work material to get to.
It's like, it was a brilliant ad lib and you should appreciate it. However, enjoy the rest of it as much, please. But
that's it. I think people... But that is one of the things about drag shows, and I don't know if it's the same with comedy or not, but I think people love moments that they feel like are just for them.
Yes.
Like they feel like it's never going to happen again. It only happened in the moment. And there's something people love about that that you can't recreate. So it's nice to have a mix.
Yeah, I think especially if you've paid to go to a show, I think people like, I've paid for this, I want something for me, like just for me. And so I think you do get audiences who, you know, want something. But also, like, I very much feel that's my job to provide that. But that's also the bit of comedy I like. Like, of course we have routines and sets that we work through and shows that we stick to. But, you know, a lot of it, the bits that are the most fun are when it goes a little bit wrong. Or when you have to do something a little bit different. They're the funnest bits. And initially, when you start out, they're the scariest bits. But they quickly become the most enjoyable fun bits and why we do it, really.
Absolutely. I'm still having a pure hour, and I found this when I've done Fringe. The first year I went with sort of an hour of jokes in a really structured set, and it was the most exhausting thing I ever did because it was the first year I dropped the songs, and I was like, oh God, like I need something to happen that that changes the energy, and I need someone to throw up or someone to throw a drink, and it just took. That takes a lot of adjusting to. So I also appreciate the unpredictable. Because that gives me different energy and places to go whilst you're sort of on this journey of working on, having all the perfect energy in a perfect hour. It's very difficult.
I get that. I get that completely. And talking of Fringe, you are going again this summer to the Edinburgh Festival with a new show. What's the new show called? What's
I'm going
it
to keep
about?
going until I'm
come?
famous. So it's called Ginger's Problem Area. So I'm
lovely stuff.
Welcoming, yeah, just the one you thought of. So I'm going to welcome people into the warm embrace of my problem area, where I shall solve all the problems in the world. That is right, all the problems. Yeah, wow. Absolutely.
It's a big claim.
We're going to do politics, religion, how to douche in under a minute. I want to do all of it.
The big three.
Yeah, I love that those are the big three. That would be brilliant.
Yeah. Incredible.
So that is coming in August for a full run. I am with the Assembly. I'll be spanked if I tell you what time it is, but it is late at night. It is as adult as you would expect it to be, and it will have all of the things. It will have the medium of comedy, it will have the medium of song, and it will have to have the medium of theatre, otherwise I won't get my 2-star review from Broadway Baby.
We've all got to do it. We've got to bow down to the reviewers all the time. I think what would be a great sort of way to end this would be if somebody is listening now and they are thinking about, they really want to give drag a go. What would you say to them? Someone who really thinks I could give this a go. I really want to do it. What would be your one piece of advice to them?
Don't do it.
I knew that was going to be it.
I was expecting that.
You can't not. I couldn't resist the urge. I think. So if they genuinely want to if they want to have drag a go, just give drag a go. It's for everyone. If you want to make drag a career, which is probably where your question goes, I'd say be prepared to travel.
Yes.
And be prepared to inconvenience yourself. When you, I remember, and this is going to make me sound really like a Philistine, but one of my favourite memories was when I was back starting in a bar in Edinburgh in 2018, getting ready on a fire escape with 4 of the drag queens at 2:00 in the morning, to go and do 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes each. And we're getting ready on this outdoor fire escape, zipping each other up, desperately trying not to fall down the stairs, to go out on this tiny little 6-inch stage to some students at 2:00 in the morning. And then, I was at work in Glasgow the next day at like 9 a.m., which I've managed to sort of manufacture a meeting to help with the travel costs. And I think then we'd played some Kate Bush at some African appeal type music, saying, there may be people starving in Africa, but look at us with starving drag queens. Please tip us some money. And we had these, giant buckets, and I think I walked out with 17 quid. Nice. And I remember thinking, that's the most fun I've ever had earning money in my life. Yeah. And now there are kids who are coming out saying, oh, well, I've spent days working on my face, on makeup, and I can't go out and do one number for less than £100. And you're like, well, good luck. Be prepared to do shit for free. Be prepared to inconvenience yourself. Be prepared to network. And there'll come a point where you are able to command more and make this a career. But also, and as I sort of said at the start of this podcast, have something else, because it's a competitive world, and actually, as you go through the roller coaster, you're going to have the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. But I think for me, if you don't love it, don't bother, or do something different. If you're really hating trying to lip sync, don't. I'm a fantastic couple of comedians that are trying to lip sync because they think, oh well, that's what. I won't name them because I don't want to criticise them, but there are some amazing acts out there. And I'm like, you should just do comedy. Or there are other acts out there that, they're crap at comedy, but they're bloody brilliant singers. and actually that's fine. Find a route that works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lovely message to end it on. It really is. Find a route that works for you and love it. And that's what's really great about this. You can really see how much you do love it, and that is just really lovely and wonderful to see. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
No, you're very welcome. It's been wonderful to have you. All the details for Aunty Ginger's social media and all upcoming shows and stuff will stick in the bio of the podcast. You can find those and click below. Yeah, doing all the pointing. Yeah, you can find all of those and sort those and go check it out because those shows are going to be amazing. I'm going to come see you in Edinburgh because I'm coming to the Edinburgh Festival, or hoping to come to the Edinburgh Festival again. So we will definitely make a trip of it and come and see you. That sounds really exciting.
Well, I will definitely return the favour because I love you guys. So, yeah, we will swap show times and we will make it work, even if it's on our days off.
Yes. That's brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We're so honestly thrilled to have you. Thank you to you at home for listening as well. This has been the Quiz On podcast. Drop us a review, drop us a follow. That would be amazing. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.